Alrighty, good evening, guys. I'm Ryan alongside Alex here, Michigan Storm Chasers, back again for a update video stream briefing. We have yet another winter weather event on its way to Michigan. A bit of a tricky one this time around. We're going to break it down here in what should be a quicker overall stream. We're not going to stand here too long tonight in comparison to the couple hour stream we had last night, but we're going to go over everything you guys need to know with this system. We're going to look at all four major models we use, talk about snowfall, talk about our forecast, et cetera, et cetera. So go ahead and kick back. We're going to talk about this for about 5 or 10 minutes. We'll take a few questions and we're going to pop right back on out. So we have another winter system on its way here. I'm going to take this screen full so you guys can see it nice and bigger. So this is the European model. This is one of the main winter models that we use. We're seeing some lake effect snow showers out there today. We're going to see that come to an end overnight tonight. And then tomorrow, Friday evening, our attention turns out to the west where another piece of energy is moving our direction here for later on in the Friday time frame. This is going to move in roughly late afternoon, early evening, right around that 10 p.m. time frame. We're going to see snow start to overspread the state. That's going to continue dumping a light to moderate amount of snow across we're going to say northern portions of Michigan. And that's going to move out for Saturday morning. And notice there is a gap here on this model where no snow is going to fall. But we are seeing a second kind of system developing back here for our Saturday, which is the main uncertainty that we have with this overall event. How is that second part going to develop? The first part here is going to dump anywhere from 2 to about 6 inches of snow across the state. But if we get the second part down here to develop, those totals will go up across portions of the state. That is the big uncertainty. So the European says first system passes, a brief break for our early Saturday. That will start to fill in somewhat as we move throughout the day Saturday. And by the time Sunday morning rolls around, we are getting another snow system. So perhaps a 36 to 48 type hour event with this system. And then finally, we get to Sunday evening, and that snow system is moving out. We are left with some lake effect snow showers and Arctic air that fills in as this system pulls away into the northeast. So that is the European solution. Now we go over to the GFS, the American model. Let's go ahead and see what it says for us. So we're going to move this through today. System moves in. Here is tomorrow at 10 p.m. We're seeing that system develop. Light to moderate amount of snow there. And we're going to move this into the overnight hours. That continues to push eastward. And then this one re-ramps up the amount of snow we get overnight into Saturday morning, into the Saturday afternoon time frame with a bigger type of system with some mixing there close to the borders, a possibility. But again, that system also, or this model also amplifies a system for our Saturday time frame. And then that moves off into Canada by the time Sunday afternoon, evening rolls around, leaving us with lake effect snow showers. So models are starting to kind of combine the idea of potential a two-part system, 3 parts when I count the lake effect snow after this event. Now maybe we go to the Canadian model here. The Canadians have been pretty good this year for the most part. So we also like to look at this model just overall. We're seeing the system begin Friday evening, tomorrow evening, goes throughout the day on Saturday. Again, another amplification of the Saturday system. And then that also pulls away with a little bit of less snow on the backside for Sunday, but still snow showers at least for our Sunday. And then lake effect snow ramps up there during the day on Monday. Last but not least, the NAM model. The NAM is a shorter term model. We don't like to use it too often, but we're going to go ahead and throw it in here tonight just because we're seeing that model, a very similar picture, a little bit heavier snowfall across parts of Michigan. This is Friday night into Saturday. Some mixing going on down further south there. And then a second system develops here on the backside with a little bit heavier snow, perhaps for southern Michigan, and then lake effect snow for Monday. So all these models are converging on that idea. It's just a little bit of deviance between, a little uncertainty there. But overall, putting these all together, let's go ahead and talk about snowfall. These snowfall amounts and locations are kind of all over the place, if we're being honest. So this is going to be the biggest uncertainty. Moving through the time frame here, the European model begins snow up in the UP about 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow night, perhaps as early as, 6 or 7 in spots. That will move across lower Michigan here. The European stopping here Saturday morning blankets the UP and northern lower Michigan in about a 2 to 6 inch zone. Further south, though, about an inch of snow according to the European. The European passed Saturday morning. We're going into the Sunday time frame here, and it does start to snow a little bit more so for portions of southern Michigan there. We had a nice blanket, similar spots to last night's system of about 4 to 8 inches. So that's what the European says. Now let's go to the GFS American model, see what it says here. This is the American model saying snow begins tomorrow night around 7, 8 o'clock or so in the evening. That will continue a nice blanket of, again, 2 to 6 inches, this time across the entire state by Saturday morning. And then a second system develops there later on the day on Saturday. And then snowfall totals here start to really increase for most all of Michigan here. And the model goes kind of high on totals. It goes like 8 to 12 in terms of the amounts this model gives us through Sunday. So it's a bit aggressive, so to speak. The Canadian shows a similar picture for portions of Michigan. There's our snow for tomorrow night, like a nice blanket of 2 to 6 inches. And then we get to Saturday, and that's going to be the biggest uncertainty where the heaviest snow sets up. This is a little bit less aggressive, a widespread 2 to 8 inches of snow when we get through Sunday. So the models are not consistent at all. That is a big takeaway for this. So we're going conservative with our first call forecast. Let's go ahead and go over that real quickly here. Number one, we're going to go over our snowfall prediction. Now we are going again conservative. We're stopping our forecast at Saturday morning due to the uncertainty with this event. But we are blanketing the upper part of Michigan from about West Branch. We're going to stay really north of Mount Pleasant, really in darker blue there in the southern half of the UP in a 3 to 6 blanket zone. And then around that in that medium color blue, we're going 2 to 4. Further south is uncertain. As we just went over, some models do show 1 inch, some models show 4 or 5 inches. There is potential for mixing of rain or perhaps freezing rain down there. It's not going to be significant enough for us to be worried about impacts besides travel, but we are highlighting the southern part of Michigan along 94 and point southward in a 1 to 3 inch zone, highlighting mixed precip possible. But again, if models converge on an idea, we're going to have to either up the totals or keep it the same based on what we're seeing here. So as far as what we're seeing for timing impacts, we are going with 4 to 7 p.m. arrival of our system for Friday evening. So this is going to be for the Western UP. And then further into the inland part of northern Michigan, as well as the central part of the UP, we're going 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. arrival time for your snow. Further to the east and green, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. And then if you're over there in far eastern lower Michigan, we're going after midnight for an arrival time. We'll update this again tomorrow. One thing to keep an eye on as well during the day or during the evening on Friday into the Saturday time period is the wind. We are seeing wind gusts, especially along Lake Michigan, gusting up to 40 miles per hour. Elsewhere across the state, 30 miles per hour. That's going to be the expectation for our winds throughout the night on Friday into Saturday morning. So blowing and drifting snow and reduced visibility is going to be an issue here. But overall forecast is conservative for snow based on the spread of models, giving us 4 models and 4 different solutions. Overall depiction, though, is a 2-part system where we're going to keep an eye on. First part comes in Friday evening, Saturday morning, and then Saturday evening into Sunday is kind of like system number 2 that may dump more snow for us. But again, uncertainty exists. So you guys are probably seeing a wide range of forecasts from your weather apps, local news, us, other pages on Facebook. Our forecast goes out and stops at Saturday morning because we are still uncertain about that second part system. If more confidence is increased, we'll have to up totals in certain parts of Michigan based on what we see throughout the evening tonight on models and also tomorrow when we make our last call forecast. So with that being said, a couple questions here. Alex, did I miss anything you want to bring up?
No, again, like we were saying, we call this, system number 1, system number 2. We really want to make sure that we're breaking this, down to make it the best possible forecast for you guys. So that's why our first forecast starts Friday night and then ends Saturday morning. We want to break it up and make the most confident forecast first before we move on to that second system, because the reason you're seeing so many differences in these models is because while technically we're calling this a system, this is actually what's called warm air advection snow. And what warm air advection is just warm air that's getting pushed from south to north. And that creates lift and that creates precipitation. So as this precipitation breaks out, some of the models, will place that advection differently. You see, as Ryan is moving that time frame further, we're getting all this precip, rain, snow mix just expanding out. So that's the first system on Friday night into Saturday. It kind of almost comes out of nowhere. If Ryan goes all the way back towards the beginning, it just kind of blossoms out of nowhere. and then just continues to expand and expand. That's what makes it a little bit more difficult to forecast the highest totals because of this advection of warm air. And then finally, on Saturday into Sunday, we get the big system ejecting out, and the track of that is what is so uncertain. So, again, we're just breaking it all down here with our best guess for Friday night into Saturday morning with the totals that we have right now. And again, don't be surprised in our final call if we tweak those a little bit. Again, if the warm air isn't as stout moving in, we may have to move those higher totals down, and vice versa. If there is more rain than expected, then we may have to move those lower totals further north. But this is our best guess right now, taking an average of all the models that Ryan just went over for our first best guess on Friday night and Saturday morning. But we will be bringing out a new map for Saturday night and Sunday, Ryan, probably sometime tomorrow. That will include Saturday night into Sunday. So make sure when you guys are looking at our graphics to make sure to look at the timestamps on those graphics so that you know which map you're looking at.
And I also will add on to that, in Sunday, when the system ends into the Monday and Tuesday timeframe, there's going to be a lot of cold air around with northwest winds. And when you combine really cold temperatures with our somewhat warmer lake waters, we may get lake effect snow for a 3-part system for early next week. So if you live in a lake effect prone area, West Michigan, the UP areas, northern lower Michigan, do expect lake effect snow to ramp up behind both these systems, especially later we get into Sunday and especially into Monday. That could add additional accumulation as well. We're not going to talk about that just yet, though. We want to focus one at a time here. So
yes, exactly.
Just want to bring that up.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a few questions in there, Ryan. The snow. So initially, the snow Friday night and Saturday is going to be a little wetter. The ratios are going to be a little lower, so we're looking at a little wetter snow this time around for Saturday or Friday night and Saturday. But as we move on through the weekends, and like Ryan was mentioning, to early next week with the lake effect, then it'll turn fluffier and fluffier as we get through the weekend and early next week. So starting wet, ending fluffier.
Will we get weather watches? For the first part, Friday evening, Saturday morning, likely going to get advisories. There is a select few locations that may meet winter storm warning criteria. So we could see watches be put out for a select localized area in Michigan. Wouldn't be shocked by that. But the majority of us here in Michigan will probably get an advisory for this system. Unless we have really high confidence in a little bit more snow, then we'll have likely watches.
Yeah, but more than likely, like Ryan was saying, blanket advisories, and then they may upgrade later on to warnings if it's warranted.
We'll have a trash can window meter out tomorrow morning for you guys. See a couple questions in there regarding that. But yeah, blowing, drifting snow possibility throughout Wednesday. Wow. Throughout Friday evening into Saturday morning as a possibility. The days are all running together, guys. I think it's Wednesday at this point. But no, we're gonna have some wind to deal with. It's not going to be major wind, but it'll be enough to blow some snow around and cause some drifting and some low visibility. So 1 to 3 for Ann Arbor. So our forecast we saw this afternoon has not changed. We do put you in the 1 to 3 inch zone there in Ann Arbor. But as Alex just mentioned, we have to adjust based on the new data coming in this evening. Into the morning, we'll analyze everything and we'll have a new updated forecast out. So you easily could shift into a higher total, or you could shift into lower total based on how this all plays out. But for right now, 1 to 3 is our best guess. And again, this stops on Saturday morning. So any snow that falls past Saturday morning, we'll have to adjust our forecast tomorrow for. Hopefully we have some more confidence, Alex, with the models tomorrow to get a firm grip on this system, because this is one of the tougher systems to forecast because there's a lot of moving parts with it. There's one system, and you have that warm air advection with a second system. Like there's just so many things that could go wrong or go right if you look at the opposite way. So it's kind of like roll the dice at this point, and 8 times out of 10 you'll get one solution, and 2 times out of 10 you'll get the other solution. So
Yeah, you get the warm air advection first, least cyclogenesis with the second system, and they kind of merge. That system deepens on Saturday night and a Sunday, and that's kind of what we were hinting at. Is that while we are still trying to get the pieces with the first part Friday night into Saturday, there are still a lot of moving parts. If we were to look at this forecast, even just this morning, it was looking like the Saturday night into Sunday system was going to be more to our east of Michigan, into Ohio and Pennsylvania and upstate New York. Later
Yep.
this afternoon, the latest updates to the forecast models kind of shifted that system a little stronger and a little further to the northwest, starting to impact eastern Michigan. And looking at our ensemble data, which ensembles are taking the main models and running those models multiple times with different tweaks to kind of give us an average. Those ensembles have been shifting the low ever so slightly back northwest. So now we're starting to see those higher totals in eastern Michigan, especially. But again, these models have been kind of going back and forth now. So that's why we're stopping our forecast Saturday morning right now. We're hoping that by tomorrow morning, tomorrow, even by midday, we'll have a new forecast out for Saturday night to Sunday for you guys. Uh, and, hopefully we're able to nail down this entire forecast for you by then. That's our hope, at least.
Yeah, we'll have a full update for you guys tomorrow. We're going to try and get out pretty early just because snow does arrive late tomorrow. So we want to get you guys up to date on what's going to happen. But if we don't have confidence tomorrow morning with that Saturday system and perhaps Sunday system, we're going to it's going to be interesting to see how we're going to forecast that because a lot of people, a lot of our colleagues at news stations and even weather apps really, they're forecasting for the entire event. Like they're saying 5 to 9, we're saying 2 to 4. There's a large difference there. So 5 to 9 certainly is possible if you think about it. But
Yeah,
again, confidence that we have currently is too low to introduce those totals. And our philosophy here, Alex started a philosophy. I jumped on board with it. This is how we've always forecasted. We start low, we move up as needed. We don't want to come out and say 5 to 10 for everybody and then have to adjust down because that's disappointing for a lot of you guys. We want to start low and then work our way up.
exactly.
Evan with
Thank you,
5.
Evan.
Yes, thank you. Five gifted memberships. Thank you for your support, Evan, and welcome to the team for those who just got gifted.
So yeah, like Ryan was mentioning, we never wanna come out and just throw big totals and just throw, almost a dart at the board. Be like, okay, we're gonna go with this, and then have to trend downward after the fact.
Yep.
That does a disservice to everyone, to you guys especially. We want to make sure our forecast is most accurate for you. We know it's the weekend too. Everybody has plans this weekend and wants to know exactly what's going to happen. But once we have that exact information, that's when we're going to bring it to you, which is hopefully tomorrow. That'll still give everybody enough time to get their plans for this weekend going. Our first forecast for tomorrow into Saturday. I know tomorrow's Valentine's Day, so tomorrow night, people will have plans. Again, the snow is going to be starting right towards the tail end of the evening, like Ryan said, about 9-10 p.m. the start time. We think we had that timing map up a little bit ago, Ryan.
I got to update it again here. There we go.
Yeah, the start of the snow there. Yeah, after about 4 to 7 in the western UP, 7 to 10 for the central UP and into northwest Michigan. So everybody that's going to be out and about tomorrow for Valentine's Day, just be aware that the snow will be starting around then and continuing overnight.
Any other questions, guys? Didn't want to pop on here too long. We got a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes we're working on, so it's going to be a pretty short stream tonight. I don't see too many questions in here, Alex, so I think we're probably good to hop out of here pretty soon. But again, if you're just tuning in, pop back to the first 8 minutes, I think it was. We kind of go over everything. Overall consensus, a lot of model spread, a lot of uncertainty. Our forecast that was posted earlier does stop Saturday morning. A secondary part of the system is possible Saturday afternoon and evening into Sunday, which could bring more snow. But right now, confidence is low exactly where and if that's going to happen. So right now, our forecast stops Saturday morning. 3 to 6 inches for northern lower, southern half of the UP as well. Around that 3 to 6 zone, 2 to 4 inches of snow down to about Lansing, Wixom areas, all the way up toward Marquette, Sault Ste. Marie, Houghton areas. And then further south, some mixing of rain could occur. but 1 to 3 inches further south at this time. Models, again, they're kind of split where the southern part gets 1 inch or they say they get 6 inches. So we're just going to have to keep an eye out for model trends tonight into tomorrow morning, and we'll have an updated forecast for you guys as early as we can tomorrow morning. So we are going to pop out of here. Before we do, though, I want to shout out the spotlight sponsor of today. We have Gargin Technologies. They are based out of the Burton area, which is near Flint. Security cameras, audio, video, data, voice information. Go ahead and give them a shout. Gargin Technologies is the banner up there. The website would be, let me get the website for you guys. GarginTechnologies.com is going to be their website. I'll drop it in chat here. So thank you, Gargin, for sponsoring today's video. All right, we're going to pop out of here, guys. Do expect information from us regarding the system, these systems, plural, throughout the next couple of hours and days here at MSC. Alex, anything else you want to finish on?
No, that's about it. We're pretty good here.
All right, cool. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Stay tuned.